Hello and welcome. In today's lesson, I'll be showing you how the match function works. The match function returns the position of a value in a given range. Mark the word position. It doesn't return the value, it returns the position of that value in a given range. In our previous lesson, we looked at how the match and the index function works. But in this lesson, we will be looking at just the match function, because for you to merge the match functions with another function, it's important you understand how this function works independently of other functions. We'll be looking at three different scenarios where the match type is 1, the match type is 0, and -1. The match type is the third argument in the match function formula. So as I input it, you have a better understanding. If you're working with a match type 1, it's important to note that your data set needs to be arranged in an ascending order. But if you're working with a match type of -1, your data set has to be arranged in a descending order. That's why we're having these two data sets. One is arranged in an ascending order from the lowest to the highest, while the other set of data is arranged in a descending order from the highest to the lowest, because we'll be using this particular data set when working with a data type 1, while our data set needs to be in a descending order if we're going to be choosing a data type that is a match type -1. So I will input the formula, follow along so that you have a better understanding of how this works. So we start with the equal to sign, match. So what are we looking up for? We're looking up for 50,000, this particular sales value. I'll put comma. Where are we looking up for it? Our data set. So this data set we'll be using for a match type 1. And what is our match type 1? So we'll now close the bracket. Now, the match type 1 looks out for the highest value that is less than the lookup value. Now, you see less than. Here, match type 1 is showing less than, meaning that if I didn't see 50,000, Excel will look for the highest value that is less than 50,000. That is what it means. So it's better I just close the parentheses and see the position that this formula will result to. So you see, it brought out the fourth position. So what's the fourth position? 1, 2, 3, 4. 40 is the fourth position, meaning that it looked out for 50,000 in this range and couldn't find 50,000. So because we selected a match type 1, it now looked out for the highest value that is less than 50,000. The highest value in the range that is less than this 50,000. And what's the highest value? It's 40, because 55 is already greater than 50,000. So what is the highest value that is less than or equal to 50? So if we had gotten 50, Excel will select the position of that 50. But because 50 is not found in the cell range, it now goes for the highest value that is less than that 50, because the match type 1 looks for the highest value that is less than or equal to the value you're looking up for. So because 50 cannot be found, it looks out for the highest value that is less than that 50. And the highest value in the range that is less than 50 is 40. And that's why the position 4. And 40 is in the fourth position. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is how it returns the fourth position for us. I believe we have that understanding. So now let's look at the match type 0. This is what we use mostly, because the 0 match type look for the exact value. It doesn't work like the match type 1. The 0 match type look for the exact value. If it doesn't see it, it brings out an error, which is the NA error, #NA error. So let's type match. What are we looking out for? We're looking out for this value. We'll still be using the same data set, but it's important to know that the match type 0 does not consider whether the data set is arranged in an ascending or descending order. And this is one of the match type by default we will be using most of the time, except in a different scenario where you need to use a match type 1 a match type minus 1, but 0 is mainly the default because you're looking for the exact. So if you don't see the exact, return a non-applicable error. But the data set is not necessarily to be arranged in ascending or descending. You just look out for it, for the value from that data set you've selected, right? So what our match type is 0. So Excel brings out 440 is in the fourth position. So if you look at it, this is the first, second, third, and fourth. So it brought out the fourth position. So it looks for the exact value. The match type 0 looks for the exact value and brings the position of that value. Right. So now let's look at the match type minus 1 and see how it works. So we're looking out for 50. And where are we looking out for? Remember, for match type 1, it's ascending, while match type minus 1, it has to be in a descending order. And this data set has already been arranged in a descending order. So you just select the range and choose a minus 1, which is this one. So the match type minus 1 returns either that value you're looking up for. But if it doesn't see that value, it returns the value that is greater than that value. You understand? It returns the value that is greater than that value. So you look out for the value that is equal to or greater than that 50. Right. So I'll just close the bracket. So you see 50. Now we're having the first one is 55. So because Excel could not find 50,000 in this range, it returns the value that is greater than that 50,000. Okay, let's say we have 52 here. Let me put 52,000. So it will bring that. Are you seeing it? So that is how it works. So it's brought 2. So meaning that I didn't see 50. So what is the next lowest value? Yes, that's a word. It looks out for the next lowest value that is greater than 50,000. I believe that's the best way to explain it. So if it doesn't find 50,000 in the range, it looks out for the next lowest value that is greater than 50,000. That is how the match type minus 1 works. Right. So I believe we've gotten value from this and we have an understanding of how the match function works. Right. So if you have gotten value from this, please don't forget to share this video with as many that will benefit from it. Like this video and do subscribe to this channel for more value tips. I hope to see you in the next lesson. Bye for now.